Hi, my name is Lee from Lee and the Sweet Life and the Foodie Book Club. I'm here today to show you how to make some blackberry meringues with Chantilly Cream for Carbon Home series, the series we're doing with them. You'll find this recipe, the written down recipe, on their website, so have a look for that. Let me start off by saying you probably need a notebook because I tend to talk a lot and say lots, give you lots of tips during it. So if you want to pause it now, go and get a pen and paper, pencil and paper, come back, start it again. You're not going to miss anything. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause it when I think it's like watching paint dry, because sometimes watching people cook things can be just like really boring. If I'm mixing stuff or things like that, I'll tell you I'm going to pause it and then I'll just come back when it's all done, just to save some time, because I know these videos are very short. So let me get on with it before I start taking up time by just chatting. So blackberry meringues, easy peasy, okay? 2 ingredients for meringues, that's all you need. So when you see it in recipe books and it sort of like blows your mind, it shouldn't. It's really easy. I'm going to show you how to make it very easy and put some blackberries in, because they're now, aren't they? You can pick them in the bushes and everything like that. I do that. I've got a dog, Ellie, who you probably hear wandering around sometimes. She's the Foodie Book Club ambassador, so check out our website, leeandthesweetlife.com. Foodie Book Club is a book club that has a food element to it, and it's all about inclusion and emotional well-being of others. So you can start your own book club, you can sign up to our free newsletter. When you go on the website, you'll see a pop-up for sign up for your newsletter. You get that every week into your email box, and it's got free stuff, it's got competitions, and it's about supporting people. So there's going to be a lot of me and Carbon Homes doing stuff like that, so because I know they're really good for stuff like that. So let's start with some blackberries. So I've got a punnet of blackberries, and actually it's a punnet or 2 handfuls if you're picking them yourself from the bushes. And what I've put in there is 4 tablespoonfuls of icing sugar, and just squish them all down. And I've let them for about an hour because we want the juice, but we don't want the seeds or the pulp or anything. But don't throw that away, because there's a bonus recipe on the website about how to make that into easy jam. Honestly, it's delicious. The lovely Mr. G, who's my husband, just doesn't allow me to throw anything away, although we don't throw anything away in this house. It's a compulsion of mine. Anyway, so 4 tablespoons full of icing sugar to your punnet, or a couple of handfuls of blackberries. Squish them down, let them sit for about an hour because we want the juice. In the meantime, we've got to have 2 eggs, but we just need the egg whites, okay? And we've got 200 grams of caster sugar, okay? That is about a couple of cups of caster sugar, but again, check it on the website because you'll see all of the ingredients written down there. Now, don't throw the yolks away either. This is another tip to write down. Freeze them, put them in your ice cube trays, give them a little prick with a pin so that they don't explode in the freezer. Freeze them, take them out later when you need them for scrambled eggs or make custard with them and all that sort of thing. So don't throw anything away. But I'm going to show you how to separate the eggs. Now, I've got problems with my hands, so I can't whisk for very long, and this needs a lot of whisking. So I'm using a mixer here, okay, which I shall show you on, but you can use an electric whisker like this, hand thing, or one of these if you've got a lot of elbow grease. So don't think you can't make these, because you can. It's just going to take you time, and that's all the problem is with meringues. It takes time. Okay, so you have to just bear with it. So I'm going to separate some eggs, 2 eggs, and I'm going to show you 2 ways of separating them. So the first one, I want the egg whites in there, and I'm going to put the egg yolks in there. So obviously the first way is to do it this way. This is the way my mom used to do it. This is the way she taught me how to do it. So transfer in gently the yolk from one shell to another. Can you see that? And you see it all dripping down, and then the egg yolk goes in there. Fabulous. The other way, which is really messy, which I'm going to show you, and is not my favorite way, but some people prefer it. Okay, so you crack it. Some of the egg white will come out. And this is a very chefy way of doing it, by the way. This is the way the chefs do it, in your hands. So you transfer it to your hands. You do get more egg white in your bowl, but it is very, very messy. Okay, so I'm just going to give my hands a good old wipe in there. So I'm going to put those egg yolks away for later, and then I'm going to pop this on there. Again, this is something that I'm going to switch off when I start whipping it, because it's going to take your time. But I will show the end thing before I put the sugar in, so that you know what to look for. So I'm going to pop that down, and this is just a whisk, like I say, and let it go. Okay, so I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to stop it now with my little gadget, and then I shall come back when it's the right consistency. Hi, we're back. I've mixed the egg whites, and you can see here it's all sort of like tough and not tough, but I can't get this out. Hold on. I thought I'd leave all my mistakes in here because I just want cooking. This series of Foodie Book Club is about just making cooking really less scary. I want you to be able to just have a go at cooking, and if it fails, who cares? It'll taste good even if it doesn't look good. Okay, so that's what we're all about. So I'm going to leave all those mistakes in. Do you watch Come Down With Me? Because on Come Down With Me, you always do this when you know the eggs are ready, and actually that's right. So I'm going to let you see what that looks like. See, they don't move. Okay, so that's just the egg white. I'm going to shake that into there. Okay, so that's the egg whites. Now I'm going to start to add the sugar, the caster sugar that we've got here, which is 200 grams. Again, it's on the website. And I'm going to add that a tablespoon at a time and let it really, really mix in. This is another thing that looks like, watching it is like watching paint dry. So I'm going to stop it and come back to it. And I'll give you a tip about how to do that. Take your time and use your whisk. It just takes time, okay? So we're going to add a tablespoon at a time-ish. I have a weight in my cooking, and it's called ish. You know, a handful of this ish and a tablespoon of that ish. This is 200 grams though. So popping in a tablespoon ish of caster sugar and start to whip. And what you're wanting to do is don't add the next lot of caster sugar until that one's completely incorporated. And what that means is when you touch it, you can just feel a fine grain, but not too grainy. Okay, so the end product, when all of the sugar's in, it should be grain-free. All right, that's the idea. Ish, grain-free-ish. Okay, so I'm going to start whipping this, and then I'll come back to you, and all I'm going to do is whisk it. Oh gosh, whisk and whip, which is the difference? Whisk it, let it all incorporate, and then add another bit, incorporate, another bit, incorporate. It's going to take maybe about 6 or 7 or 8 goes at this, so that's why it's going to take time. So I'll see you on the other side. Hello, back again. So I've whipped that, and actually it took me to put that 200 grams of sugar, caster sugar in. One of them, it's one of the types of sugar, it's caster sugar in there. It took me 10 times to tip little bits in, so I've never counted before, so there you go. So this is what it looks like now. It's gone all glossy and shiny, and can you see the peaks on that? It's absolutely brilliant. So, and when I touch that, I'm just taking over my bowls now, which has got, that's a mess. When I touch that, I can still feel a little bit of grain, but it's not as, the grains aren't as big as the grains that went in, if that makes sense. Can you see how thick that is? Now, what I'm going to do is pop that aside. Now, whether you want to do whether you wanted to prepare your berries first or now, it's up to you. I probably should have done it first, but hey ho, because I always say to people, be prepared, but I wasn't here. Well, I sort of was, I just didn't think about it. So what we need is the juice. So I've got a tea strainer here, okay? You can use a proper sieve, a fine sieve, but a tea strainer is fine. And I just got mine from the second-hand shop actually, because who has tea leaves now? And I'm gonna tip some of that in and use the fork to pulp it down. Now, if you want to have those pulp and berries in there, you can. You just have to be careful not to put too much in, because what we're gonna do is put liquid into that, which is gonna make it liquidy. Meringue liquidy, and then we have to bring it up to thick again, and it's not going to be as thick as it is now once we bring it up to thickness, but hopefully it'll be good enough. So I'm going to keep these berries, the pulp here. See the mess I've already made? I'm just so backhanded. Oh, in case anybody's wondering, in the break when I did separate the eggs with my hand, in the break I did wash my hands again, so just in case somebody's going, oh my gosh, I did. So be very aware of things like that. And I would say I'm just getting all the juice out here. And while I'm doing this, because I would normally stop and come back when I've done it, but I just want to tell you about Foodie Book Club. It's a book club that we hope people will start. And then it's about supporting people through crisis, emotional, long-term, short-term, We can't do a lot to help, but we can have the people who organise it, of the groups. If you want to start a group, contact Carbon Homes or me. We give them training in empathic listening to help pick up any signs, to listen to people, to help understand and support people. We give them things to signpost people to organisations that may help people. And it's about reading good books and just having some fun with them and enjoying cooking too, and stopping people being scared of cooking. So the book club, you meet up at the end of every month, the book club, like you would in somebody's house. You change houses, like stuff. And every month you bring along with you a potluck dish, which has an ingredient in it that is from the book that I choose every month. So for instance, and they're not recipe books, they're fictional books. So for instance, fried green tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. Well, you'd have tomatoes, so you'd bring something that has a tomato in it. If you can cook, if you can't, doesn't matter. Just meet up and have a chat and support each other, and, you know. Anyway, so that's what it's about. So check it out. And if you've got any questions, contact me or Carbon Home. So I've kept those berries. Like I said, that is going to be made into jam. Don't panic. And I'm just going to, just so messy. So I'm going to get, see that lovely meringue? I'm now going to destroy that meringue by putting some liquid in it, and I'm going to put this juice in it. Now I only want a couple of tablespoons in there because I don't want it to be too wet. Okay, and the rest I'm going to put with the berries to make the jam, so that's going to go over there. So I'm going to start this again and start to whip it, and I shall show you what it's like. First of all, how liquidy it is, and then I shall keep whipping it, and then I'll come back to it. That makes sense. So let's start it first, because I'm going to turn it off because the noise is crazy. Okay, so here we go, switching off. So now I have just literally done one mix just to show you, and you can see already that it is liquidy. Don't panic at this point. Can you see? It's still thick, but it is more liquidy. And what I'm going to do is scrape down the outside, and then I'm going to keep whipping that just for a couple more minutes till it gets a little bit thicker and can hold itself up a bit more. So let me just give that a scrape down. There. Again, do this with a hand whisk. It's not a big deal. It's just that I have problems with my hands. So I think I'm making more mess in there than not. Actually, I'm going to just leave it on for a second because it won't take that long. There you go. So it doesn't take that long to come back up. Remember, only a couple of tablespoonfuls of the blackberry liquid, and you know, also learn how to put your things on. Awesome. Right, so I'm going to push that aside, make a space. Okay. And what I've done here was line two trays with non-stick kitchen parchment. I've also got the oven set to 100 centigrade, and that's been heating up. It's really important that you have your oven heated up before you put in. Heat your oven up for about 10 minutes beforehand. It's important. Let's see if I can get this, some of this meringue in the bowl rather than on my mixer. It's a beautiful pale purple colour, red, pink. I'm sure there's a colour out there. Somebody will tell me. Tell me if you know the colour. That colour will fade a bit when it's in the oven, but you'll still have that lovely blackberry flavour. All right. And also, if you have any cooking questions, we're trying to start with like a cooking agony aunt thing. Can you see? I'm just scraping down any of the more purple in there and giving it a quick fold in. Sometimes at the bottom, because if you've got a proper mixer, a stand mixer, it misses the bottom out. But I actually quite like all of that. Can you see there's bits that are mixed in? I think it looks pretty when it's out. So yeah, if you've got any cooking questions, any questions at all, send them to Carbon Homes, and there'll be details on this post. And then we'll try and answer them. We'll try and answer some every month. Okay? So it doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to give you another tip now, just to hold this non-stick kitchen parchment down. I'm just going to put a little bit, can you see? I mean, I did that and ripped it, and I didn't rip it well, so I thought I'm not going to waste this. So I'm just not going to put something too close to that. So don't waste anything. I'm just putting a blob of this underneath the paper here so that it sticks down, because it's very sticky. I don't know if you notice meringues sticky. I can feel it on my finger as well. And this is a great recipe, okay, to use to have fun with the kids. Like I say, it's just two. You don't even have to put any flavours in. Forget the blackberries. Just make it with eggs and sugar and have fun with it. You could put raspberries, strawberries, any berry juice in there, okay? But if you don't have any, it's not a problem. Just have fun with it and just make a basic meringue. So you get up to that shiny point, you don't put any juice in it, and you just start to do this and cook it out. So what I'm doing is going to put, again, you could pipe this. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put them on the tray. Give enough room to rise and spread out, spread out. I'm putting about a tablespoon, heat tablespoon here. Again, you could measure it all out perfectly, but you don't have to. It's an ish measurement. Also remember that these are going to be sandwiched together, so you need, everything has to be in twos. Okay, so, you know, it makes two to make a sandwich. Oh, don't, somebody, I've already heard in my head somebody saying, Swedish open sandwich. Yeah, we know, but I'm not in Sweden. So, I'm going to do this. And I've only put 3 there because I said I'm not going to put anything near there because, you know, pop these on there. I want them to be high rather than squished out. So I want little mounds of them. And then what I'm going to do is pop these into the 100-degree oven. I need more on that one because it isn't the right size. 100-degree oven, and let them cook for 1 hour. And then I'm going to open the door once the buzzer goes off. I'll switch the oven off, and then I'm going to leave the meringues to cool completely in the oven with the oven switched off and the door open. And I said that again in a different way, just in case I hadn't made it clear, because that's going to be the thing that makes them hopefully crispy on the outside and gooey in the middle. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how many more I can get here. Obviously, I don't know exactly how many it's going to make because I don't know how big your mounds are. If you make them any bigger than this, you are going to have to sort of think about different cooking times. I'm going to give this a scrape down because I've got that in there and I don't want to waste at all any of it. So, you see what I'm doing just there? I should spread these out, shouldn't I, really? Because, you know, they're all going to be... Look at that. That's the juice that hasn't been mixed in. Can you see that on the camera? And that's so pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look at that. Last one. 7. Wow. Which is perfect. When I say 7, I mean 7 doubles. So we've got 14 little mounds. Okay. Right. Okay. So let me just check. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm going to put those in the 100 centigrade oven for 1 hour. The alarm's going to go off. I'm going to switch the oven off, crack the door open so it stays open, let them cool completely. So next time you see me, we'll be talking about the filling. Okay, so see you in a minute. Hello, I'm back. So the meringues have been cooked in the oven at 100 degrees centigrade for 1 hour, and then I turned the oven off and I cracked the oven door, which means just leaving the oven door open a little bit until the meringues were completely cooled. And this is what they look like. Little mouthfuls of gorgeousness. Can you see that lovely subtle colour? And this is the even easier bit. I've got 300 mils of double cream, and I've added, how much sugar, icing sugar did I add? 4 tablespoonfuls of icing sugar. to that to make a Chantilly cream. That's all that is. And you whip the cream up really stiff, and then you add the icing sugar and just whip that in, just give it a mix, and it has this wonderful sweet and a taste to it. And this is what I've done there. Little bit of a tip though, if you haven't got any measuring jugs and you're buying cream, this thing from this person has measuring on the side of it there. So I just, whenever I don't really buy jugs that often, I just use that. So that's a nice little tip there. Just use what you have. So all I'm going to do is to sandwich these things together with a lot of this Chantilly cream, because can you not, there's no such thing as too much, I think. I'm going to put them straight on back onto this tray, but then you can just transfer them onto a pretty plate if you want to. And remember, I made them into twos, so like little sets of meringues, because they're all going to be sandwiched together in twos. Now, remember, if you wouldn't mind just subscribing to this, go to contact Carbon Homes with any questions you have about food, and we'll try and answer them. Subscribe to our Foodie Book Club free newsletter. That'll be awesome, and you get lots and lots of wonderful free things in there. And then we'll see you. Let me know if you like this, if you're happy with these video, and we'll do more. Okay, so that's all I've got to tell you. So have a lovely time, keep it real, and enjoy your cooking. Bye.